Hello and welcome to the Underestimate and to another edition of NXT Out of 10, but no usual edition of NXT Out of 10 because it is a bit of a special NXT Heatwave Out of 10. Big matches on this card. Carmelo versus Wesley in main event, Rhea and Dom in action, but we start things off with Ilya versus Trick Williams, and Trick Williams fought through the toughest shots of Ilya and stayed in the fight. However, the Mad Dragon was still too much, sealing his win with a diving low 4-1 smash. This was the first major test for Trick. His competitive and high-pro single matches were against one of NXT's best. While it wasn't time for him to beat Dragunov, he more than held his own, and this was a match to kind of prove that it works, and he's right to go on his own. Trick worked at Dragunov's pace and left his bout as a future title contender and likely win the gold sooner rather than later. The Mad Dragon put himself back in the NXT Championship pictures and could get his rematch, maybe at No Mercy, who knows, but we'll have to see. That's at the end of September. But yeah, I thought this match worked really nicely. Both competitors both did a great job for them. And yeah, great way to kick off the show, I have to say. So yeah, 7 out of 10 from me. Before it's time for Ivy Nile versus Ava. Ava dominated the match with her power. However, all it took was one counter for Ivy Nile to put out the Dragon Sleeper and force a submission. NXT never put the schism well, but this was one of the worst nights for the stable had. Despite outnumbering Nile 20-1, she beat Ava quickly and laid her out the schism as grunts afterwards. While Nile should be risking the ranks, and there was no reason to be making the group look incompetent. Ava still doesn't look fully at ease in the ring, but it did help that it never came competitive bout over 2 minutes. But yeah, in a way, I think the way they're pushing Ivy is great, but it's just a schism. If I'm being brutally honest, I've lost all faith in that group a long time ago. So yeah, it doesn't really affect me anymore. It gets a 6 out of 10 from me. That's what I give it. Before it's time for Nathan Fraser versus Noah Dar for the Heritage Cup. After Dabakato took up bait in the second round, Nathan Fraser was left alone with the Metaphor fully in attendance. When all the way to the 6th round, Noah Dar ducked a Phoenix Splash and hit the Nova Order before the deciding pin. This was by far the best Heritage Cup match since the championship was reintroduced in the next year. It was a dramatic showcases around the format, and that ended when Dar worked smarter than his opponents to become the first ever 3-time winner. It's a shame that one of the falls happened during a break, as the complete experience would have stolen the show at a pay-per-view. When the Scottish Supernova arrived in NXT with his cup, nothing was clicking. The introduction of Metaphor coupled him with losing the trophy. And yeah, it's changed kind of in a full circle. While Fraser is great and could have run with his championship for longer, Dar has defined the championship. The former champion will rebound while the Metaphor dominates in the rounds format. And yeah, I think on the whole it worked really nicely. So yeah, it gets a 7 out of 10 from me. I like what they've done there. Noah and Dar, first step on the road to redemption. And yeah, this was great stuff. Can't wait to see what you can do with the belt, because yeah, I think heels always are better with the belt. It was then time for Tiffany Stratton to talk about herself until Gigi Dolan, Kiana James, Blair Davenport and Roxanne Perez laid claim to the NXT Women's Championship slot. The Prodigy then caught the centre of the universe with a right hand before a brawl broke out. While NXT has done well in highlighting the women's division feud, it has stepped up its top talkers. This was painfully obvious segment where no one stood out. This did help Perez's case though, as she spoke to at least to make the most impact. Clearly, she is the right woman to face Stratton at No Mercy. The match will be much better than the promos, but Stratton and Perez need to step up to the mic before they can take this time steps to the main roster completion. But yeah, I thought they had work to work on in the promo stuff, but I thought it set up potential future feuds really well here. So yeah, I'm not going to criticise it too much. It kind of did its job it needs to in a way. Rhea and Dom then took on Lyra and Dragon Lee, and Lyra challenged Ripley throughout. It took a surprise appearance from Raquel Rodriguez to take the Eradicator out. This allowed Dragon Lee to pin Dom off a turtle while reverse DDT. 3 seconds of Ripley v Valkyrie in the match was must watch. They have great chemistry. The Australian always stays in motion in the ring, and it even makes a basic leg sequence memorable. There is also some fun sequences between Dirty Dom and Dragon, especially down the stretch, but the transitions to Kingdom Men Wrestling were awkward and kept this from being even better. This win sets Dragon up for the challenge for the North American title, but Mustafa Ali also waits in the rain. Title scene's loaded with talent, and I think Dom's doing a great job, with the belt and his character all tied in nicely. But yes, continuing the Ripley Gonzalez feud, and yeah, Ripley and Valkyrie really puts Valkyrie over. I thought this worked all really nicely here, I have to say. So yeah, 7 out of 10 for me. It's time for Baron Corbin versus Von Wagner. The match never really got going in truth, as a brawl broke out beforehand. Baron Corbin threatened Mr. Stone, but Von Wagner saved him before he could send Corbin through the announce table. Braun speared him, and NXT had a chance to do something big with Wagner. Instead, it decided not to have the schedule match. While this side had been set for a bigger moment down the line, it's odd to waste an announced fight like Heatwave. Breaker and Corbin could be interesting. It made a dynamic that could help them both translate quickly to the main roster. This will require Wagner to find a friend. It would be a major mistake to assume Gable Stevenson will get cheered in that situation. He may just ruin the good mood that Wagner's been. However, Wagner could benefit from finding a tag partner. But yeah, for me, this really didn't click, and yeah, I would have preferred to see the match. And Bron Breakker, to be honest, I think he should be in the main roster now. He's done his time in NXT, but yeah, we'll kind of have to see where it goes. I'm not convinced, but let's just at least give it time. It was their main event time, Carmelo Hayes versus Wesley. Wesley fought hard, but he got too aggressive in the end. He missed the suicide dive and just collided with the barricade. And when he just made it back to the ring, Carmelo Hayes met with nothing but net to retain. This had high potential, but was heavily abbreviated. Melo and he barely got going before the finishing sequence came in. With the history between these two, it would have been sense to give them another 10 minutes. On a night of hot performances, this was one of the weaker bouts. One that was far from bad. It was a letdown based on its potential, and a future match could maybe set it all up. Hopefully, we will get the chance. The finish was clunky, but sold the experience of Melo overcoming the pure emotionally. The challenger will need to go back to the drawing board and find out the way to outsmart the A champion. So yeah, I felt like it's a good match. Could have been better, but obviously the right result, and I'm just hoping we get more matches between these two down the line. But yeah, 7 out of 10. And overall this week, NXT gets 7 out of 10 for me. On the whole, enjoyed Heatwave. Always good to have a TV special, isn't it? Enjoyable stuff throughout, really. And yeah, I think it's setting up nicely for No Mercy, which is obviously a month away. And yeah, lots of interesting stories to build between now and then. So yeah, good stuff. But anyway, guys, that's it for the video. Thanks so much for watching. Like, subscribe, don't forget to daily wrestling and subscribe to the channel. It's going to be greatly appreciated. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.